Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Nicole Gitsky. Well, a stabbing led police on a chase that ended with an officer-involved shooting. 17's Karen Waugh joins us live from the scene in East Bakersfield, where everything unfolded.
About a dozen patrol cars behind me who've been here for about 3 hours, blocking off this area around the tracks off East Truxton. You can hear a few sirens in the background. You can hear the train about to come. It's been quite the bloody morning here in this neighborhood of East Bakersfield. It started shortly before 9 when Bakersfield police say they responded to an emergency call of a man who stabbed his mother multiple times. That was at East 18th and Sonora Streets. Then the man ran about half a mile to this area here at East 18th and King, according to a witness.
Officers made contact with that subject who was still armed with the knife. They attempted to take that subject into custody using less lethal munitions. However, that failed. Subsequently, an officer-involved shooting took place.
Now, by less lethal munitions, Bakersfield police say they tried using foam rounds to stop the man. When that didn't work, that's when the officer-involved shooting occurred. Now, police say there was body cam footage they'll release later, and the man's mother has moderate injuries. This marks the 15th officer-involved shooting of the year, the third by Bakersfield police. It is still quite the active investigation. If you have any information, you're asked to call BPD at 327-7111. I'll definitely bring you more details coming up tonight at 5. For now, live in East Bakersfield, Karen Waugh, 17 News.
All right, thanks so much for that, Karen. And like Karen mentioned, it was a bloody 24 hours in the East Bakersfield area. Now, last night, a 15-year-old was shot just blocks away on East 11th in Baker Street. Shortly after 6 p.m., Bakersfield police responded to a teenage boy with major injuries from multiple gunshot wounds. The teen later died at a hospital. No suspect information has been released at this time. And we now know the name of the man who was killed near Wasco over the weekend after his motorcycle hit a power pole. Now, this happened just after midnight on Saturday on Wildwood Road, south of Highway 46. CHP says 28-year-old Jesus Manuel Luna II was riding a motorcycle southbound on Wildwood Road when, for unknown reasons, he drifted to the right and off the road before hitting the pole. Luna died at the scene. CHP says he was wearing an approved helmet. And we learned 7-year-old Aurelio Garcia Sr. was killed on Mount Vernon near Monterey Street after a hit and run. CHP says Garcia was hit just after 4 a.m. Sunday morning. According to CHP, the driver, 29-year-old Joshua Reyes, did not stay behind. Reyes turned himself into the Bakersfield Police Department a few hours later. CHP says it filed a criminal complaint with the district attorney's office. Well, big news now for Kern County. We can begin moving into the red tier of the state's coronavirus categorization system. Now, that's according to the Director of Public Health, Matt Constantine. Kern Public Health says the county just barely met the requirements to move up a tier last week, and those metrics have held for the past 2 weeks. The state has given the okay for Kern to move into the less restrictive tier. So now, what does that mean for us? This move allows houses of worship and many businesses to reopen indoors with restrictions. Places of worship and restaurants can open their services indoors and operate with 25% capacity or 100 people, whichever is the lesser. Also, movie theaters, gyms, and museums can open with restrictions. Bars will still be shut down. Schools can reopen for in-person instruction on October 28th, 2 weeks from Kern entering the second tier. Kern officials say one of the reasons we are able to move into the less restrictive tier is because more people are getting tested. And that brings us to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic here in Kern County. 69 new cases were reported yesterday and 2 new deaths were reported today. 397 people have lost their lives to the virus since the beginning of the pandemic in March. There are currently more than 10,000 people recovering from the virus at home, while 43 people remain in the hospital. The Kern County Latino COVID-19 Task Force will be offering free testing this Thursday at Lamina Cantina and Friday at Vallarta supermarkets. Both sites will run from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Walk-ups are welcome, but you are asked to pre-register ahead of time. You are also asked to wear a mask. For more information, head to our website, kget.com. Well, Johnson & Johnson has paused its clinical trials of a coronavirus vaccine after a patient fell ill. The pharmaceutical company said the patient's condition was being evaluated by an independent organization. It's unclear whether this participant was in the placebo-controlled group or received the experimental vaccine. Another vaccine maker, AstraZeneca, also started its phase 3 vaccine trial last month, but was placed on pause in the U.S. after a participant in the United Kingdom was reported to have developed a spinal cord injury. And switching gears now, we are taking a look outside and seeing another relatively warm day out there. Let's send things over to Kevin Charette.
Well, Nicole, it's a beautiful start to the afternoon. In terms of the temperature, yeah, we are starting to warm up a little bit around Kern County. We're at 80 degrees right now, a west-northwest wind at 6 miles per hour, and we'll continue to see a light breeze throughout the day. 70s and 80s right now for the valley. We've got 70s and even some 80s up in the mountains, and Mojave at 82. And as we take a look at the regional forecast today, 89 in Sacramento, 88 in Fresno, 80s down to the south in LA and San Diego as well, and we'll be looking at 93 in Vegas. Phoenix still a little warm at 101, and high pressure building on into the state here, so we will continue to see this warm up the next few days. Still seeing rain out of the Pacific Northwest, and we're going to be watching a couple of troughs develop out of the north, and by Sunday and Monday we will get a little bit of a change in our weather pattern, and that means cooler air will start to come back in. The other thing we're going to look at is maybe a little subtropical moisture off to the west. Doesn't look like that's really going to affect us as of right now. And this model going through next Monday. Here's a look at our headlines. A warming trend, we've been talking about that. A light haze will continue around Kern County. It's not bad out here this afternoon. Potential mountain winds will pick up Wednesday through Friday, and an increasing chance of fire danger as well. As we take a look at the air quality today, going to be moderate with an AQI at 93, and today we'll call for sunny skies. A temperature of 88 in Bakersfield, 87 in McFarland, 89 out in Buttonwillow. And then we take a look at the mountain forecast. Sunny skies, 83 in Fraser Park, Tehachapi at 81, right near 90 for the Kern River Valley, Lake Isabel at 91. And then for the desert, we're looking at 93 in Ridgecrest and a northwest wind right around 10 to 20 miles per hour. Now here's a look at your extended forecast, and you can see tomorrow warming up to 89. 90s though, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Back into the lower 90s by next Monday. So there is something to look forward to. I love the lower 80s. Mountain forecast, we're going to inch things up right near 87 on Thursday. That's where you'll peak in the mountains, and then back into the 70s by next Monday. In fact, 74. And then for the Kern River Valley, your peak will be Thursday as well with a high of 97. And then good news, Sunday and Monday, you will be back into the 80s. So overall, not a bad forecast. It is a beautiful start to the afternoon. Get out if you can. Back over to you.
17 News is your local election headquarters. Now, according to the U.S. Elections Project, more than 10 million Americans have already voted. Poll workers in multiple states are already counting those mailed-in votes.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.